Okay, I have a story to tell you. So, we were talking right before we started recording about, like different anime openings we like. And you mentioned Naruto's Bluebird opening, right?
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
You want to hear a story?
What?
You want to hear a story?
I want to hear the story.
I think I've told you this before, but I don't think I've talked about it on the podcast. So, one day Matty is, going to class. I'm going to Timbers, learning about wood and how the structure works. And I was listening to music before. Remember when my phone was broken?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, I walk into class and I was listening to music, but I turned off my headphones and I sat down and my music started playing at full volume at the very beginning of class, and it played that opening and it was so loud, and I was sitting in the back of the class and everyone turns and looks at me, and you know how the opening goes. How does it go, Mo? It goes I was like, ah! So I'm like hitting my phone, trying to turn it off, and it's not turning off. So I literally run out of the classroom with my phone and toss it. Like I tossed my phone in the hallway, and I'm just like,
You're like, please turn it off.
Yeah, I'm like, go, stop. And so that's what pushed me to get a new phone after that, because that was the most embarrassing moment of my life. And I walk back into class, and I am like beat red, and like, no one's really saying anything in the front of the class, but I sit with my friends, and Carter and Matty are like, you're so red. And I'm like, and Carter was like, that anime opening though. And I was like, fuck you. Yep.
That's pretty. I've had that happen before too.
Oh no. Oh no.
It's been even like worse and stuff, because like there have been times that I've like put my headphones in to like leave class,
Oh no.
and they have it, and they're Bluetooth headphones, and so they have it connected to my phone, and I thought they had, and I pressed like play, and then like Crossing Field is like playing out loud in like my freaking microbiology class.
Yeah, and I mean like, okay, don't get me wrong, if it was any music I would be embarrassed, but it's even a little bit more embarrassing because it's like, I'm proud of being a weeb, but I don't want to, like, flaunt it, Like, I'm not, like, rocking a runway being like, oh, listen to this anime music.
You,
and,
like,
pose,
dressed up as, like...
voguing the whole way down the class.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Benjer's Anime Edition. As always, I am your host, Mo.
And I am Matty, and we're just a little podcast that talks about anime openings. Not openings. Oh my god. Should we redo that?
No, let's keep it.
We talk about anime with our fellow weebs. I don't know why I said any of that. I am sorry, everyone. But yeah, so, Mo, our summer's almost over.
It is almost over. I can't believe it.
Which is crazy.
It's August 1st.
Is it August 1st?
Yes.
The time we're recording this is August 1st. This is going to come out
at the end of August.
End of August, like the fourth Monday in August. Ugh. It's crazy. Dude, and I'm not going to lie, going back to school is going to be kind of stressful because this whole COVID thing.
I know. And did you see that they're not enforcing masks anymore?
Wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
On campus?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, when was this?
It's optional. It's
when?
They had a thing about it on the news about OSU.
Wait, seriously?
Mm-hmm.
Because all of our mandates have been going out saying that it is required everywhere.
I don't know. I think there was something on the news or something that it said OSU is no longer requiring that you wear masks on campus. It's only recommended.
Okay. Which, I mean, masks don't do much. I mean, they really don't.
I mean, if you're sick, it does help quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of people, especially in Japan, they
Yeah.
wear masks when they have a cold. I'm like, please do
when
that.
their allergies are bad or they have a cold and stuff, they wear masks so that other people don't get sick.
Yeah, exactly. But
but if you're
doesn't-
healthy, it doesn't help anything.
Yeah, if you're healthy, it doesn't prevent you from getting it.
Yeah.
Like my friend Treasure, she was a nurse, and she got COVID at the nursing home she was working at, and she was full protection suit stuff, and she's like, I still got it, everyone still got it. She's like, COVID gets everywhere, so there's a good chance that we'll get it by some point. And so for all of the fans out there, there'll probably be a couple weeks where there'll be at max 4 weeks or four days that we won't be able to actually record because we won't be in person.
Yeah.
Which I think we'll try to figure out a way to do it online.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, we actually do record in person, which is probably not safe. But we don't interact with anyone.
Yeah, I kind of just stay to myself and like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to the doctor the other day. Turns
no.
out that.
Oh no, she started her rant. Please do tell.
Turns out, my vitamin D is kind of low.
Yeah, because you sleep all the time.
No, it's because I don't go outside.
Yeah, but as a result, you sleep like
Yeah,
all the
it's
time.
because my vitamin D is low, I'm sleeping like excessively.
Yeah. I was wondering, like, everyone was in our friend group is like, yeah, Mo has something wrong with her because she sleeps way too much. And she's not depressed. Or
Yeah,
like,
I'm not depressed whatsoever. So it was like, there was something like going on with me, like chemically.
But yeah, there would be, like, remember when we first started doing this podcast and I was like, okay, Mo, like, we're going to record at like 12:30. And you'd be like, dude, I just woke up. And I'm like, girl, it's literally noon. And and you're like, yeah, I went to bed at like 10 last night. I'm like, girl, you slept so long.
Yes, I can. No, there have been times where I can literally sleep for like 13 hours straight.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so now I've got to take a pill once a week for my vitamin D because I'm pasty and I don't go outside.
Because I'm a pasty. I got to pop my pills to try to like help.
because I don't go outside because I'm so freaking pasty that the second I go outside, I'm going to burn. And I would rather just stay inside than have a sunburn.
Yeah, no, I understand. Because I don't go out much anymore either. And I mean, I don't burn. I tan. Because I'm Native American.
Oh, though, when we went to the lake, I did tan a little bit.
You did tan a little bit.
I did tan.
I tanned a little bit.
Which doesn't ever happen. So, like, I was, like, taking, like, a shower and stuff, and I saw it, like, in the mirror and stuff, and I was like, oh, I kind of got
like,
a little
oh,
tan.
look at that. See, I got super sunburned on my shoulders. It wasn't that bad. But, like, the amount of sunscreen I put on should have counteracted any sunburn. I don't know how.
You put on SPF 100 and it still didn't work.
I like coated it on my body. Like,
that stuff was nasty.
It was very nasty, but I was like, it's protecting my skin. And I still got sunburn on my shoulders.
Dude, I still got sunburn and I was slapping that stuff on like every 30 minutes.
See, I don't want to get skin cancer, so I just don't go out much.
Yeah.
And I don't like putting sunscreen on my skin because I don't think it's healthy for your body. I really don't. I mean, I've seen
better than skin cancer.
Well, yeah, but I've seen like different studies. It's like the same. It's like it does get in your bloodstream, and it could cause like blood cancer. So, do you want skin cancer or do you want blood cancer?
Well, blood cancer is actually really easy to treat.
It is, but it still sucks.
It sucks.
So, you know what I do? I just avoid the outside world. But also with this mindset, I could just put myself in a bubble and never leave, and I would be fine. I literally just don't eat anything. I don't talk to anyone. I eat like, because no preservatives are not good for your body.
Yeah.
And we eat a lot of those. And even vegetables, you put pesticides on it, so that's probably not good for your body, even though they say it is. But even like our drinking water is still not good. Like, it's not good for you. Like, the ones in still water does not meet FDA
That's why I
requirements.
filter my water.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
No, I want to go get one of those like filters that you actually put on the faucet and then it just filters right there instead of like getting one of those Brita things.
Oh, yeah.
Because I hate having to fill that up. Oh, it takes so freaking long. And I'm such an impatient person.
No, I understand. But altogether, everything's going to give us cancer.
We're all gonna die.
We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die. It's the only thing in life that's it's inevitable where you will die.
Yeah.
Wow,
That's the one certain thing in life.
The only certain thing in life is death. So all of you are like, oh, I'm gonna find love. No, you won't. Oh, wow. I mean, there's still hope.
Wow.
Sorry, I guess I don't know where that came from.
Okay, I got a question for you. When is the point in life where you start like thinking that like, oh, I'm kind of old. Maybe I'm not gonna find somebody. When would you say that age is?
Like 2 days ago.
2 days ago.
Oh, 22. Feeling 22. No, but like seriously, for me, I don't know. Let me think. Statistically speaking, you will find your soulmate by the age of 21.
Oh shit.
Your first year of college, second year of college is when you'll meet your soulmate. Statistically speaking. Now, if we base it off of our families, well, I don't know about your parents, but my parents didn't get married till they were in their 30s. They didn't meet each other till their late 20s. And they met each other in a different country.
I was an accident.
Yeah.
So my parents got pregnant with me and then got married.
Oh.
So
It's okay. How old were they?
my mom was 32 and
Oh,
my
wow.
dad was 31.
Oh, wow. So, I
But
think...
they were in a relationship for a really long time though
Oh,
before
gotcha,
they got
gotcha.
pregnant with me. So it wasn't like they met like 6 months and then
And your parents, I mean, they're
I think
not...
they had been in a relationship for like at least 5 years.
And they're still on
before.
good terms, aren't they?
Oh yeah, like even though like they're divorced, they're still like friends.
Yeah, because your dad comes over all the time, and they don't, like, hate each other.
No, and like my dad stays over and stuff, and he actually like even when my parents were divorced, he actually lived with us for a few years, to kind of just be closer to me and my brother. But yeah, they have a really good relationship, which I'm very thankful for because there's not a lot of divorced parents that actually do have a great relationship with each other, and so.
Great.
Yeah,
It was good for you guys growing up, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was like even though like my parents got divorced when I was like really young, I think I was like maybe 5 or something when they got divorced. The first like few years after they got divorced, it wasn't that great. But then as time like went on, it just like they both realized that they were better as friends and stuff, and so.
Okay, I don't know why this came to my mind all of a sudden. Do you want to talk about the first time we met?
Oh, it's Pinwheels and Popcorn.
Yeah. I don't know where this came from. This is so out of the blue. But literally...
It's so weird how
we were like in first grade.
We were in something.
We were definitely in elementary school. We were little. Because
Yeah.
everyone was like, oh, Mo and Matty like each other, blah, 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 blah.
That was so weird.
It was so weird. Because I was over here like, what? I was like, what is feelings?
I don't know, dude. I feel like I was kind of advanced in like the emotional like aspect of like love, for my age. I felt like I was more mature and that like I was like, yeah, like I know what a boyfriend is and I know like what
Yeah, I on the other hand was very sheltered as a child and other things, and never really had an opportunity to understand what emotions were, and there was a lot of other factors into why I wasn't quite picking up on what was being dropped,
Yeah.
And I don't know. It made me very upset that everyone was like, oh, they like each other. And I don't remember how we resolved that. I kind of blocked out that memory.
I think we were just both like,
it was
bye.
Weird. It was weird. We were like, bye, never going to talk to you again.
And then we found each other again, like.
I don't know when I realized this, but I realized that one day. But we never mentioned it till like.
Probably like.
Now?
Well, no, I think it was like sophomore year of high school.
Well, we met each other again, but we didn't put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, until like.
I think we both put it together individually, but
and
we never
then we
actually
just kind of like.
Just now, we are like, yeah, remember that time? We just don't talk about it because it was awkward.
Yeah, and then I think we both thought about it later on and stuff, and we were like, yeah, I know that dude, and like, yeah, I know that girl, and it wasn't until like later on in like high school that we were both like, were you in Pinwheels and Popcorn?
And we were both like, yeah. And we were cringing so hard because our cringe story.
I feel like moments with us are just so cringy.
Dude, yeah, it is. That's why we don't like hanging out with each other for like, we'll hang out for each other for like way too much in like one weekend and we take a break for a month. That's why this podcast has been a little difficult because we haven't had to get a break from each other.
Oh, it's fine.
It's fine.
It only grows our friendship. Don't stare at me like that.
I mean, or it could be ruining it.
And we'll see in the future.
But yeah, I think it'll get better when we go to school. My big issue right now is I haven't been hanging out with anyone else.
Yeah.
Like, I'm missing all my other friends, and I'm like lonely. But when I get back, I'll hang out with my frat a lot.
Yeah.
Because I'm a frat boy, if no one's figured that out. Yeah. In the
frat
Christian
boy that
fraternity. I listen to Satan's music according to my fraternity. No, they don't actually say that because most of us are weebs in there. We're all weebs.
Yeah. When you told me that like most of your frat is actually like watches like anime and stuff, I was like, really?
I mean, we have a group me of like the shows that we like watching and stuff. We like drop hints. We also had a Pokemon Go group me when that was a thing.
Yeah.
We're so.
You guys play Assassin quite a bit, don't you too?
Just once a semester.
Yeah.
But that's pretty common with a lot of fraternities.
Oh really?
We also we don't have a house, so we do other things,
Oh yeah.
And it's nice because there's no hazing and stuff, like very strict, no hazing. I've
Yeah.
like literally never experienced it, and it was really nice. And no, I was like, they like welcomed me in, and I was really apprehensive about it because I never really had a lot of male friends growing up. Like I was mostly, well, I also realized I didn't really have any friends growing up, and so like I was glad I could pay for my friendship here.
Yeah.
But it's been nice. Like it's weird.
Sorry, I was like trying to think of like if I sent in my application that said I was active for this year if I
Oof,
am or not.
oof.
I just instantly thought of that, and I was like, "Am I active?"
You're
Or-
like,
I'm
"What's
like, I'm the
going on?"
I'm the photographer, so I have to be active. Did I
Right?
send that in or not?
They're like, I'm in positions. I should be, So Mo, I feel like we've rambled for far too long, and we should finally get into the show we're reviewing. So do you want
Yeah, I
to
think we
introduce the
should.
show?
So last week when we pulled out our piece of paper, I pulled out "I've Always Liked You," and of course, which it's the first movie like installment of this kind of series, which makes sense. But when we got down to thinking about it, we were like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and add in like the
show,
the
yeah.
show, because it's gonna be way too short if we just talk about the movie and stuff. And so
Yeah.
so we are reviewing "I've Always Liked You" and "Our Love Has Always Been 10 Centimeters Apart."
Yeah, so do you want to kind of talk about the production information? I'll first say that I'm not a romance dude. I'm not huge on love.
Yeah, I know.
Like we talked about earlier in the podcast, I literally think that my whole life is I'm just going to be single. I don't think marriage is in my future. Not saying I would be terrible at it. I just don't think it's I don't think soulmates are in my future. I think I'm going to be doing my own thing. So for me, like romance doesn't really resonate with me, but I will admit that I think this was cute. For romance, I would definitely think it's on the better end, I think.
On the better end?
Like of what romance
Yeah.
is. I also have not seen much romance, so I might be the only other romance I watch is rom-coms, which is very different. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, I wanted to put that disclaimer. So I don't know much about this genre, so I might be saying things I'm like, oh, I like this, and everyone's like, that is such a cliche, and or I'll be like, I hated this, and everyone's like, what's wrong with you? So just disclaimer, that's going to be happening, y'all.
But it made me happy, though, because when we pulled this one out, I was like, oh, he's going to hate this. I was like,
yeah,
he's definitely going to hate this.
I don't like it.
And then
I would never rewatch it.
You were like texting me and stuff, and you were like, it's actually not that bad.
I mean, like I smiled a couple times, but for the most part, I was falling asleep because I was watching it last night. So, but I would never rewatch it, and I probably would not recommend it to someone for their first anime unless they really like romance. But even then, I would recommend a rom-com. But it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
And I can acknowledge why people like it because it was well done. I was just gonna put that disclaimer. Sorry, production information, Mo.
So yeah, this whole like series type thing, it's called the Confession Executive Committee Love Series. So, and it was adapted from a light novel written by Toko Fujitani.
Yep.
And it has been going on since February 1st of 2014 to the present.
Oh, the series has?
Yeah,
the
the light
manga?
novel.
Okay.
So it's still going.
So there'll be lots of movies.
Yeah. I mean, though this last one, that Our Love Was 10 Centimeters Apart, was made in like 2017, and there
Okay.
hasn't been another one made since.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so like Our Love is, I'm just gonna call it Our Love. The director is Hitoshi Nanba and Tokoro Sukada.
Sorry if we butchered those pronunciations. We're not fluent in Japanese.
Yeah. The studio is La Deuce. They've done other works, including Oh Maidens in Your Savage Season, which I just recently watched, and that one was pretty funny. The music is by Honeyworks, and if you guys don't know what Honeyworks is, it is a Vocaloid orchestra. Vocaloid is kind of like electronic, band type of thing. I think that's what it is,
Yeah,
or
I
my
think
complete
so.
understanding
I don't
of
know
it.
for sure, but
Or that's like my complete understanding of it, but they do quite a bit of like other works and stuff. If you guys have ever like, Hatsune Miku, whatever her name is and stuff, that's a Vocaloid,
Yeah,
it's not a real person. And then I've Always Liked You actually has a different director, Tetsuya Nanagisawa, and they had different studios of Aniplex, Dentsu, Fuji TV Network. There were about 10 other studios.
Wait, so was there a dub for this show?
No. But there were about like 10 other studios that worked on I've Always Liked You, but I didn't want to write them all down, so there's 3 of them. If you want to know the rest of them, go look them up.
Yeah, just go look it up, y'all.
Its original run was April 23rd of 2016 and was the very first installment of this whole series as an anime.
But yeah, so that's pretty much kind of the shows we're going to be reviewing. I don't want this episode to be super long since we're kind of going. It'll probably be short already just because this is romance. And this is very, like, there's not a lot of source material to talk about. So I'm going to describe the synopsis of 10 centimeters apart because I feel like that kind of ties in with both. And I'll describe the synopsis of the movie very quickly because, once again, I don't want to drag this out too long for y'all. So pretty much, one day at an entrance ceremony, our main heroine, Haruki, who's part of the film club, he's into film, sees a girl standing underneath a cherry blossom tree, and her name is Mio Ida. I was close. And then she's part of the art club. And so they're under the cherry blossom tree, and they kind of like chit-chat. And then ever since then, they can't seem to take their eyes off them, and they're both bashful about their love, typical romance. And then... But, like, many people often mistake them as, like, a couple, and everyone keeps saying, oh, they're going to be a couple, and they're like, no, we're just friends, blah, 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 and the friends are like, their friends that are in both clubs are, like, trying to push them to get together, and they often walk home together after school, and they go sit on the step, and they, like, talk, and they always sit there with their hands that just always 10 centimeters apart, and that's kind of how their relationship is.
It's kind of like their gap from each other.
They're always a permanent distance of 10 centimeters apart. And that's kind of like the premise, the synopsis of the show. It's just the romance about their love and stuff. And then the movie follows all the side characters who are all like pairing off and pretty much about how they're confessing their feelings for each other. I feel like that would be...
Yeah, this whole series revolves around basically like the 6 main characters and like their love for each other.
Exactly. And we'll talk about the characters very quickly. There's not a lot to talk about. I think most of the show, we're going to kind of skip the story and plot conversation we usually have, because I think if we talk about character relationships and development, that will kind of be more where it is. So, do you want to talk about our main character?
Yes, let's talk about Haruki Serizawa.
Yeah.
And let's go ahead and add a Mio into that, too. We can just talk about both of them together.
Yeah, so Haruki is our blonde hair, like, dashing, main character.
Very charismatic, very social.
Outgoing. He's a troublemaker. He's always rowdy in the hallways, and he's, like, he's in the film club.
Very popular.
Yeah, very popular. He's in the film club. He's the main director. He's very good at it. Everyone's going to say he's going to do great things, and eventually in the show he does.
Do great things.
And our next character is Mio.
We have Mio. She's the very shy, reserved, artsy type of girl.
Very...
doesn't like being in the spotlight or anything like that. And
she's very cute, though. I think she has the short brown hair. She's the very
cute, like girl next door type thing.
And she and Haruki are 2 main love interests, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. I think we should talk about the next 2 girls in the art club. I think will be the next easiest way.
Let's talk about Natsuki.
Yes.
Inomoto. And what was her name?
It's
Akari had something.
Hayashana Kaka. I'm a bird.
But her name was Akari, right?
Something like that. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Just watch the show.
The purple-haired girl, whatever her name is.
Yeah, so purple-haired girl is the president of the art club. She's very nice, very kind, but also very clumsy, but also no one really knows what she's thinking of ever. I feel like she's kind of like a mystery aspect.
She's kind of like that elegant girl, that like you see and you're like, that every girl sees and just is like, I want to be her.
Yeah, like she's like, from when we reviewed Orisuki, very President Cosmos type of vibes.
Yes.
Very Anna vibes from a world where dirty jokes don't
without
exist.
The whole
perverted side, typical president. And she's really sweet. I like this character a lot. And then the next character is, as you already
Natsuki.
said. Yeah, and she pretty much
She's a very tomboy character.
Yeah, she wears sweatpants under her skirt, which I thought was against dress code, but I guess not. And she's like tight, high bun, very tall.
Likes to hang out with the guys. Like, her best friend is a guy.
Yeah, her childhood best friend. She's very loud person. Like, she'll yell in her cafe and stuff. She's very disruptive.
Very outgoing
Yeah.
type person.
She's not anything special in the art club. She's just a member,
Yeah.
which fits her, I think, well. She's very who's the girl from Monthly Girl, Nozaki-kun? That's the basketball girl, the best friend.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I can't say
I can't
her name.
remember her name, but like those characters are really similar.
Yeah.
And then next is the other two members of the film club. Which, do you want to talk about both those characters very briefly?
Yes, we have Yu Setoguchi and Shota Mochizuki.
Yeah. Yu is the president of the film club, and pretty much Mo and I have decided he has no personality
He is
at all.
the love interest of Natsuki.
Yeah,
And that's pretty
the
much
childhood
it.
friend. He's literally the childhood friend who
Lives next door.
lives
and
next
then...
to, and he's kind of blunt, and he sort of tries to follow a tight schedule, and that's literally his only line.
He doesn't have like a whole lot to do.
Yeah,
and
neither the movie or this show. There's not a lot of development for him, which
they,
we'll talk
like
a
a lot
bit
more of
later.
the development comes from like Natsuki than
Yeah.
it comes from you.
We'll talk about that in a little bit, and then the last character in the film club is the vice
Mochizuki.
president of the film club, and that's
Mochizuki.
yes, and he's a whiny bitch.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Me and Matty have decided we don't like him.
we don't like him. He's this
He's, like,
scrawny,
okay.
like little kid. It's like, oh my gosh, it's the last summer ever. Oh, we have to enjoy it. I'm like, shut up.
Like at the end of like 10 centimeters part, he kind of gained my favor a little bit,
No.
in the when they're like kind of grown up a little bit. But
Yeah,
but
when he
he was
grows
in
up,
high school, I'm like,
he was whiny. He was he was a
like,
nut. He was,
oh, don't you want a girl in your arms to love and like all that kind of.
I'm like, dude, you only have like 6 lines in this entire show. Like, please grow up. But yeah, and then that's pretty much our main 6 characters. There's also that white-haired character. I forgot his name.
Yeah. Koyuki Ayase.
Yeah, which he is a very feminine-looking character, and then he kind of goes through like a transformation by cutting his hair, taking off his glasses, and he's interested into
Natsuki.
and that's in the movie.
Yeah.
And that he kind of just helps drive
He's like
the
in
plot.
the love triangle with like
Natsuki
and
then
Natsuki and you
Yeah.
and
So that was interesting, I thought.
and then there's like
And
Yu's sister who's like
Yeah.
in love with Koyuki or something.
I
or...
didn't know. I didn't realize that. But then
Yeah.
there's also the teacher. I feel like he's kind of important.
Yeah.
I forgot his name.
I did too. I don't think I wrote it.
Saku Aku. I'm sorry, I'm not good at this pronunciation thing. But he's just a teacher. He's old childhood friends with our main character's older brother, belated older brother.
Yeah.
And he's the new film club, advisor. He wears a lab coat. He
Yeah.
eats candy all the time. He's pretty
Because
funny.
he can't smoke.
He's very Aizawa, I feel
Yeah.
like. Very Aizawa.
Very like laid back, doesn't really like
Care.
He cares about his students, but then again doesn't like care,
He doesn't care about life. He's not like high strung or anything.
Yeah,
very
he's
laid
like,
back.
eh.
But yeah, so that's all of our characters. So I feel like the next best step is just kind of talk about the character developments and
The
stuff.
story and then kind
Which
of
Moken has already hinted at. Art Club, I felt like those characters were well fleshed out.
yeah.
That 3 trio friend, I feel like we got a good dynamic between them. They got along well. Whereas in the movie, the film club, it didn't make sense to me. I felt like that was really shallow. Like, I didn't understand their dynamic. I didn't understand why the main character was only the director. He wasn't like VP or president, and he was like the one being praised for everything, while the
Yeah.
other two were like, oh my gosh, you're so
Yes.
exciting that you're going to go to, the U.S. to study film. And I was like, what? And you guys are just fine with that, even though you guys do all the work for. I was like, okay. But they also had no personality. It felt like, but
Or their personalities were really just one-sided. It wasn't very dynamic or anything like that.
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say. I mean, this show was only 6 episodes and
Yeah.
a movie, which was only an hour. There's not a lot of room for character development, which I really wish it was longer, because I think we would have got more fleshed out characters, other than just the 2 main characters.
Yeah.
But their dynamic, I felt, was interesting. Do you want to discuss that a little bit?
Are you talking about Haruki and
Yeah.
Neo? Yeah, I really loved their whole like dynamic. It's
Mhm.
like everyone else around them knows that they like each other, and like
Except
you
for
know,
them.
even like the viewer knows that they like each other and stuff, and you just kind of want to scream at them the whole time. Just do something that he likes you or she likes you.
My dad turned on the mower for some reason.
I was like, what is that? But
Sorry,
you know,
everyone.
and you know, there are times, you know,
Actually,
in the
I'll edit all that out.
and then, you know, there are times like in the show where they get closer and then they get further apart and stuff
Yeah.
because things come up, you know.
Because they're always
and
going to be 10 centimeters apart.
yeah, and so it's like, you know, they get closer and you think things are going to happen and then some, you know, they get interrupted or something
yeah.
and it doesn't happen and then
No, I understand.
and then
like,
there's like the whole conflict thing with like the brother.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting. I liked their characters. I liked their dynamic. I was so annoyed though in the second episode when they were at the firework thing and then they were about to kiss and then
Yeah,
that
the
guy
dog
with the dog
showed
showed up and she's like, I'm so sorry, and they're like just laugh about it. But then they were for some reason still 10 centimeters apart even though they literally almost kissed. But it's interesting because our main character Haruki, he is really outgoing, but he's super bashful when it comes to love. And so it's almost as if Mio is the one kind of pushing it at the end, you know?
Yeah.
She's the one that's kind of pushing their relationship, which I thought was kind of funny because she's so bashful. But like you mentioned, there's this whole weird thing where Mio almost drowned when she was a child, and she was saved by this boy, and she was going to go, like, say hi and thank you to the man, but it saved her. But then when they go to say thank you, they go to his grave, which happens to be
Haruyuki's like
older
brother.
Yeah, and that was kind of like,
and then there's like this whole thing where she's like
an
you know,
episode, which okay, one episode doesn't seem like that much, but for a 6-episode show, that's kind of like a lot.
Yeah.
And she's like, but it's interesting because she almost becomes super depressed about it.
Well, she's kind of like, you know, I took away your brother.
Exactly.
And like,
she kind of internalizes
you know...
it. She doesn't feel her life is worth it. She always says a person like me already. So I thought it was really interesting because I think this show incorporated elements of like mental health really well into it, especially with Mio, because she does get depressed. Like she becomes distant from everyone. Like she shows the classic signs of depression, and her friends are trying to cheer her up by being supportive and being there. And I mean, for me as a watcher, I don't know if I'm just weird, but whenever I see someone upset, I will be like, dude, what's going on? Like, what's going on, until they tell me. Or like, I'll keep checking on them with them for a while until they tell me and say like, hey, if you need to talk, I'm here. And it makes me upset when I watch shows when everyone's like, wow, they're upset, but we're not going to do anything. We're just going to give them space. I'm like, no, most people don't need space if they're like almost crying in a corner.
I think the show does a very good thing of like, you know, incorporating like teenage, you know, problems and all that kind of stuff,
because,
you know, that comes to like love and all that, you know, but not being too cliche about it.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know much like romance, but it did feel like it was more of like
the whole brother thing doesn't happen in real life, and that was the one thing where I was kind of like what? But you know,
but actually, when I watched that, I kind of had a different impression. I was like, I'm like, it's a small world. Like, that kind of stuff is possible. Like, the person
it's possible, but it doesn't, like, happen,
I mean,
like, all the time.
For me, I always feel the world's smaller than we think it is. And this kind of connection I feel like is possible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not saying this exact situation happens on a daily basis, but it's not uncommon to come across something like, oh my gosh, like, I bought your dead brother's car. That was morbid.
No, have you ever heard of my roommate and her boyfriend's love story?
Yeah. Your roommate?
It's like exactly that, you know? Yeah, my roommate.
Okay, yeah, I thought that was a show and like my roommate and his
No, my actual roommate.
Yeah,
like,
I heard
of
it. I've heard it. It's really sweet.
That's just one example of how small the world is.
Yeah,
you know?
And it's just kind of like, even though this is not realistic, but I think the idea of small world is. So I think that idea of like, wow, this is a small world, and then how you handle those emotions of realizing how small it is, or like the action that happened, I don't think that is unrealistic.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I think I'm just weird.
Yeah.
But I think they did a good job, though, in showing mental health and the animation for, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but especially when he has a psychological breakdown about his brother. He, I guess, doesn't ever really visit his brother's grave.
He probably just never really accepted the fact that he passed away, you know, and so...
And then he finally does, and he also realizes that his dream to be a director was his brother's dream.
Yeah.
And that's where he kind of, like, has a breakdown.
Yeah.
At the same time, Mio realizes that, wait, it's not my fault that his brother died because she told her friends and her friends comforted her. And I really like that scene. That they actually talked about it, which I think is what real life is like, but in so many TV,
and then also the
TV.
teacher like talking to her about it, and exactly, being like, you know, like it was his choice to like jump in and save you, you know. Which
I loved that they actually had those conversations, because I feel like so often in television, especially in anime, but also in like Western television, the main character has this big guilt thing going on and just doesn't tell anyone, and no one talks to them about it. And they either resolve it somehow or resolve it with the person they're interested in. But like they have all these friends they can rely on, but they don't. And I feel like this is more like what real life is like. You actually tell your friends your issues. I mean, there's some things people don't share and everyone's different. But I think overall, when you get overwhelmed with emotion like she was, because she was truly internalizing that guilt, and it was breaking her and making her not want to do art anymore and all these other things, I thought they did a good job showing that.
Yeah. But even though this is like supposed to be like a love story, like embedding those little issues, you know, like that there and there, it really just like brought the whole thing together.
Yeah, because it's not always about, you know, the bread, not always about the love. What is the motivations behind their actions and stuff? And I thought it was really, really sweet of like how it's not just a love story, and that's why I like the story and the character relationships. I thought that pushed it to be a little better, but.
Let's talk about Natsuki and Yu's love story.
Oh, yeah, we still have more characters we're talking about, because I forgot about the movie, because I watched that, like, last week. But, yeah, their relationship's kind of weird.
It's like, you know, again, it's another thing of, like, you know, we know that they like each other, but they go about it a very, like, different way. Like, Natsuki's like, I really want to, like, confess to you that I like him, you know, and then she finally works up the courage, but then, like, she does it, and she's like, haha, I'm practicing for when I actually tell the guy.
And so she literally practices, like, the entire movie on him, like, oh, I'm going to say I love you, blah, blah. And all of her friends are like, you like him, like, go for it,
like,
you know.
Why are you, you know.
And then she finally, there's a weird love triangle thing that happens where she goes to a concert with this other dude, but then she realizes at the concert that she's actually kind of
in love with like you,
and then the other guy kind of like aggressively hugs her.
Yeah.
And I was like, which I know in Japan, hugging someone in public is like very frowned upon and very.
That's kind of like kissing for like here. And
well,
like,
I mean, kissing here is pretty like.
Yeah,
PDA
but like,
is not so frowned upon, but like. Holding hands is like how far you're supposed to go in public kind of thing. And he was like aggressively hugging her. And I didn't realize it until like a little later. I'm like, that was like very aggressive. I understand why she was so uncomfortable and why you stepped in like you did.
Yeah.
Which I think that was interesting. And then she finally tells you that like she actually likes him. And he's like, that was a good one. Like, you should definitely say that whenever you confess your feelings, because it was a good one. And she's like, no, you idiot.
She's like, no, I like you. All these times I've been like practicing, I've actually been confessing to you.
Right? I thought it was pretty good.
And then, of course, you know, he's like, you know, I'm so happy and like, let's, you know, be together. And
yeah, it was really sweet. And then
they end up engaged at the end.
Yeah, they get up engaged. And then we have the other love story, which is...
Theirs is kind of very small.
It's very,
we don't see too much of it.
Yeah, which I wish I saw more of, because I really liked, what's her name? The purple-haired girl.
Yeah.
And,
we don't know her name.
Yeah. But pretty much it was like the other dude was like kind of like stalking on her a little bit.
It was like a very one-sided love for most of the thing.
And then all of a sudden he was... Well, there was the train thing where he gets up and gives up his seat to this other girl and then runs to the other side of the train. But didn't like confront her about it. But then the purple-haired girl's like, I see you being nice. Like, okay. And I think that's where the spark started. And then they met up in the art room. She's not
very outwardly showing like her affection for him, but he's always like, she's perfect and like
in every way and loves her. And then they're like, go to the art club and they confess their feelings, and then pretty much he's like, I want you to make sandwiches for me every day. And I was like, what?
I want you to make sandwiches for me every day.
I was like, you don't say that to a woman to try to get her to date you. I'm like, I know there's like different cultural things here going in play, but I think that's not I think universally
it's not okay.
That's not how you're going to get a woman. And she kind of was like, And then she's like, well, that's kind of a hassle. I don't want to do that. But we can go to a cafe.
I really liked when I like what she says.
I was
She's like,
oh,
no, I don't really want to do that.
she's funny, though. I really like that character. I didn't like the boy, but
I love when like all 6 of these characters kind of like get together to talk about like what they think like the color of love is.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. That was in
Yeah.
the 10 centimeters thing.
Mhm.
That was really interesting.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool how each of the characters like sees love and stuff. Like Natsuki sees love as like pink and very like fluffy and like, you know, whereas like the purple-haired girl sees like it as gold and glittering and
Yeah.
like, you know, if you don't like take care of it, it dulls and, you know.
Yeah, it was really interesting seeing all these like different insights, and pretty much that was the big like driving point of I think the middle of the show was in 10 centimeters was they're trying to get these paintings. They want to incorporate the art club for their last year of school, you know, the last film they're making. But Mio is having her entire like breakdown depression thing, and she doesn't make a painting. Even though she knows what she wants to paint, kind of, she just doesn't do it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was just very interesting.
That was like one of my favorite kind of like topics was like, you know, the whole thing of like love.
Yeah, for
And-
sure.
I mean, and that was kind of a big topic throughout the whole thing was
Mhm.
like, you know, the color of love.
yeah,
and
what is it and stuff, which I thought was interesting.
I like how like Mio thought like the color of love was like fireworks and that
Yeah.
it's all different colors.
Exactly. And then I think that's pretty much all the points of the show. There's only one other thing. The show ends with a weird like they graduate and then a flash forward
And,
to like
7 years.
and pretty much Haruki goes to the U.S. for 7 years filming, you know, goes to school, and he wins like an award or something for rookie director.
Rookie of the year or
And
something.
then Mio decides to be an art teacher, so she's teaching at the school that she used to be at, you know, and they're kind of like she talks to her students, and she runs into all of her friends. All her friends are now engaged with the boys they were interested
Except
in.
the purple haired girl, her and like Mochizuki are still
They're not
dating.
engaged, but they're like they're going
They're
strong.
going to get
They're
engaged.
going strong, my dudes. And it's really sweet that they go back to this stair step, and she goes there like every day, it seems like. And then he kind of shows up in his like cool glasses, you know, and like he's
Movie
like,
star glasses.
"Hey, how are you doing?"
He's like, Aida sensei.
And she's like, it was really sweet. And they're like sitting there, and like she just-
Finally, like.
and he kind of closes that gap and puts his hand over her hand, and she's like, "I love you
It's kind of
too,"
like a thing where he wanted to like prove that he could like be successful
before coming back
before
and saying
like
it to her.
before admitting that like I love you. You know.
It was so funny because he's like, "I won an award," and she's like, "Oh, cool." And he's like, "What? You're not excited?" She's like, "Well, I already knew." But like when she found out originally, she was like screaming in her classroom. She's like, "Oh my gosh!" And everyone's like,
yeah,
"What's
it was
going
like
on?"
he's like when I knew that like the award was secured, I like hopped on a plane to come back here, and
Oh, it's
she's
just
like,
so
"Yeah, I knew."
I don't know. It was so cute. But yeah, that's pretty much for character
And then finally
relationships
they get
and
together
story.
and-
Yeah, they finally get together, of course.
Which I'm kind of glad that they had that like flash forward, you know?
Oh
Because
yeah, I thought it was about to end with them graduating. I was gonna
Yeah.
be like, "Excuse me." Closure.
I always hate it when it's like that and stuff. Like I was like, it's flash forward. Natsuki's getting engaged,
Right.
and then like they're together, and then I was like,
the whole thing.
uh,
But I think the next thing we should talk about is the visuals.
yes.
I liked the visuals. I thought they were well done.
Mhm.
I thought I liked the bright colors. I thought it was really clean. It was well animated.
I
liked it.
I like the character designs quite a bit.
I did a lot. I really liked the character designs.
I thought that they were kind of different,
Yeah. They were unique. Like
but yeah,
a lot of times in animes, you have the same face syndrome where it's the exact same character with slightly different features. But these girls, the girls especially, felt they were very unique, especially with their hairs and like their just general like length of body and everything.
Mhm.
And I like that. The boys were also pretty unique in character, and they had this like nice like silhouette highlight thing about
Yeah.
them, and like a thick line drawing around the like different features. I liked it. I like that type of character design.
I liked all like the hairstyles and stuff that they had. And,
Yeah, I did
you
too.
know.
I also really like the use of like the rose bottoms.
Rose blossom.
Rose bottoms. Of rose.
Cherry blossom.
Wow. Woo! Okay.
Whoa. I didn't even realize I was saying.
We were saying rose blossoms. Cherry. Oh gosh. Okay. But
Cherry blossoms.
yeah. Cherry blossoms. And sorry, I regained myself now. I like the use of the cherry blossom petals falling while they're talking. Like, it was well animated, and like the snowflakes and like the rain and the rippling, and
I like the
love
scene
that.
like with the fireworks, and I honestly really liked any scene that was like on like at sunset.
Oh yeah,
you know, like with like Haruyuki and Mio like sitting on the steps and stuff,
and
like
with the
at
shadows
sunset
and
stuff like that.
We love us a good shadow scene. With,
yes,
with like nice lights and stuff. But yeah, for that's pretty much for the visuals. I think overall they were good in both the movie and the anime. The music, I like the music. I like the opening quite a bit. I thought it was well animated. I thought the music fit well with it. Same with the ending. I thought they were both good. The song, there's nothing super special about it. It's not like, oh my gosh, you have to watch this.
I think that it just complements well.
I do too. Yeah.
Like with the story and everything,
No, I agree.
I mean, sometimes you can get like, especially like in a shoujo, sometimes like the music can be too like overpowering and stuff like that, or it just doesn't like build enough to
I understand.
And so, I mean, Honeyworks did a really good job. So
yeah, like the music overall, I thought the original soundtrack was really good. I loved all the songs included in it. I think the music complemented every scene very well. But
I agree.
Yeah. That's pretty much for the music and animation. Any like final thoughts we want to kind of talk about?
I honestly wish that they would do kind of like more with it.
That was my biggest thing with the show. I really wish they did a full like 12 episodes or 24 episodes for the final show, or more movies, because the light novel's still going strong. So it's kind of like, give me more.
Exactly. Like, I think that if they I think it'd be a very big hit, especially like the female demographic, if they would just take it a little further than what they have it now.
Oh yeah, I understand. I also really like the lack of a love triangle in the show, like the 6 episodes.
Yes.
I like that change.
How it was just between
the two of them.
Haruyuki
and their
Mio.
conflict wasn't there's another girl. The conflict was
between themselves.
With themselves, like an internalized. I love that psychological element they included.
Yeah.
I mean, the movie what we watched, the first movie, there was a love triangle. But
it wasn't as bad as a love triangle. You know?
It wasn't bad. And I liked the songs in the movie. I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much the show. I would definitely say that, like, for romance, this would be a show that I would say you could watch. But once again, romance is not my like. Yeah, let's watch.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now.
I like rom-coms.
There are some shows in that jar that you were gonna hate if we pull.
We will watch them and we will review them.
I know. I was thinking about that the other day, and I saw one pop up and stuff, and I was like, oh, I remember that show. And then I was like, God, one of these days we're going to pull that out of the jar and he's going to hate it.
Because, like, all the shows I have in the jar that you haven't seen aren't bad. They, like, they're mystery and, like, horror and, like, that stuff you like. For me, romance, not my favorites. But that is fine. It is okay. Because we will review it all. And if the fans want us to review strictly romance for the next month straight, because that's what we're going to do in February. We're going to do themed, and we're going to just do romance.
We're doing 2 months of themed things.
Yeah, because in October, I guess we can talk about this now, because this is going to be, we'll have a month before this comes out. We're going to be doing 4 themed horror genre animes. We already
Halloween.
For Halloween, we kind of picked them, and we were going to do a top 10 too, right?
No, we decided against a top 10.
That's right. And we were just going to do
4 straight episodes
That's right.
Anime.
That's right. And I think it'll be fun. I did have a question I wanted to ask about this anime.
Okay.
How do you see love? Like, what's the color of love to you? Since that was, like, the big thing in the show, I thought it would be a good question to talk about. But you were hinting at earlier, I was trying to, like, oh yeah, let's just move on from that, because I was going to ask that later.
The color of love to me, I've never really honestly thought about it before.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay. So for me, it's very similar to how Mio sees it. It's not fireworks, though. It's more of like multiple colors blending and morphing together. So it's like, I don't view love as constant. I don't
one
see
secular thing.
Yeah, I think it's always changing. I think the color of it's always changing. There's going to be jealousy, there's going to be envy, but there's also going to be love, there's going to be passion. It kind of all morphs together, just comfort.
Kind of like a kaleidoscope almost.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, that would be a good way to put it. And in terms like if I had to paint it, that's how I would paint it. It would just be constantly morphing together. Not really any form. It's very ambiguous, and it's just constantly growing and changing, but also disappearing. So it's always, it can be getting like overshadowed. And it's just like, I don't know, that's kind of how I view love and how I see it. Not that I've ever really experienced it in romance, at least. But from all the friends I have in the show, and that's just how I see it. But I also think love is something that you can have with your friends.
Yeah.
Love takes all different forms, so.
I don't know. Now that I kind of think about it a little more, I would like to think that I see the color of love as yellow.
Yeah.
You know, something very bright, something warm.
Mm-hmm.
Inviting. You know, inviting, and something that, you know, makes you just want to, like, stay in it.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I understand.
And, like, something that just makes you happy.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like that. I like that. That's good.
At least that's how I would like love to be for me.
Yeah.
I don't know if that'll be it true or not, but
we will find out. Yeah, that for me, I don't want love to be one color. I want it to be changing. I would get bored.
Yeah.
Because you know how I am.
Yeah.
I have to have I hop friend groups quite a bit. I have many different friend groups, and I don't have any one group that I stay with, which maybe is unhealthy. Please tell me if that is unhealthy to all of our fans out there.
I mean,
but
like I totally get what you're like saying about love not being like one color and ever changing type of thing, but you know, and like trust me, like I don't expect, like let's say I start dating somebody tomorrow, I don't expect our relationship to be exactly like it was tomorrow. I hope that like in the next 10 years if we're together it'll be different, you know.
But no, that makes complete sense.
But
yeah, so that's pretty much the show. I think we should wrap it up. But yeah, so we should probably do our music rec because we're not drawing this week because we're just going to do a top 10 next week. Did we decide what top 10 we're going to do? Do you want to announce that now?
We are doing visually pleasing anime.
Yeah. Wow. You
visually
did terrible at that.
Pleasing anime.
That was like a 0 out of 10 on terms of like.
Okay,
speech.
Rose Blossoms.
Okay. Actually, it was Rose Bottom. Thank you.
Rose Bottoms.
But yes, so we're gonna do top 10 visually appeasing anime. Wow, this is harder to say than I thought.
Appealing.
We struggling. We should do our music recs.
Yes.
So, do you want to go first?
I will go first. So, my music rec this week is the very first Banana Fish opening because I am still watching Banana Fish, and
yes, I don't think you'll ever finish it.
I don't either, but I'm trying. I'm really trying.
I don't know how it's so hard not to finish it.
Because it's just like, I start watching it, and
wait, sorry. You just watched the first 2 episodes of a show and then watched the last episode and call it good.
Okay,
I'm sorry. That was aggressive. Sorry, it's one of my pet peeves. It's just like, you don't get a full show if you do that, but that's just me.
But it's the very first opening, and I think it's called Lost and Found by Saved by the Prophet. It's very good. I like it. It's kind of like metal-y, but not really. It's kind of got a mix, but it's got a mix between like metal and like pop.
Okay, I like that.
It's really good.
Is it like kind of Mira Nikki type of opening vibes?
Kind of.
Yeah, I like that type of sound.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good one. I like it. I'll give it a listen. I'll add a link to it. Y'all go to our website and you guys can hit the link for that because Spotify not compatible, but that's fine. So the song I'm recommending, which I don't think you've ever seen this anime, is the opening to Goblin Slayer.
I have seen
So
this
rightfully
anime.
by me. Well, you don't know this song because last time I played it, you're like, I don't know this one.
Yeah.
Because you're like, it's in English, because it is in English, which I like this opening quite a bit. It's nothing like super special. I like the song a lot. Maybe it's because I can actually sing along to it well, but it's a different sound. It's very, I don't know even how to describe it. It's very unique. You just have to give it a listen. It's not like heavy metal. It's not like, it's kind of not opera, but almost like opera. It's just a voice. I like it. Give it a listen, y'all. It's good. It's very different. It's alternative. I would say it's alternative pop almost, very soul,
Mm-hmm.
alternative soul, I guess would be the best way to put it. Y'all give it a listen. But those are anime song recommendations. Mo, do you want to shamelessly plug our other stuff?
Yeah, so you guys can follow us on Instagram and Twitter. On Instagram at Bingers Anime Edition and on Twitter at Anime Bingers. Yeah, we post content daily, or on Twitter at least. And
Yeah, on Twitter. I was like, I don't do it on Instagram. But
no, we try to post every week on Instagram and try to post stories. So go check
yeah, I
it out.
post
and
things on the
stuff,
story
so-
quite a bit when I'm editing. But yeah, please check it out. Like, follow, subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcast, iTunes, Spotify. I don't know Spotify reviews, but you can if you want. Just, reach out to us and talk to us. Tell us what you guys want us to review next, what you guys want a top 10 of.
What
just
do
talk
you want
to
us
us.
to talk about?
Yeah, because we just keep rambling about,
Everything.
the randomest things, and I'm editing all that out earlier. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in this week. Have a good one. Good luck binging out there.
And we'll see you next time.
Alrighty, bye-bye.
Bye.